Hi everyone, welcome to this time's Growing Finance. While China's bonds market fluctuated slightly last week, investors couldn't find a rational trend, and the sentiment of them was fragile. No big news happened, seems like time just went through quietly, and the structure of bond yield curve was restored at some extent. So as usual, let's start with changes of bond yield curve, then see something new, alright? Total bond yield curve was a little bit steep compared to the week before. Yields of 3 and 5 years term went down 1 base point, whereas yields of 10 and 30 years terms went up 4 and 1 base point. If we compare to the one of December 9th last year, the curve was still twisted and flat. Yields of 3 years term increased 11 base points, 5, 10 and 30 years terms went down to 22 and 24 base points. The spread between Chinese treasury bonds and commercial bank perpetual bonds kept shrinking, with 5-year spread decreased 1 base point to 43 base points. About the actions of investment agencies, agriculture and commercial banks bought 208 billion long and ultra long-term bonds, whereas joint stock banks sold 360 billion. Next, let's dive into the detail part and see something new. For fundamentals, first, real estate data came out, which was pretty weak actually. Completed investment in real estate development, floor space under construction, floor space of buildings completed were minus 10.3%, minus 9.7%, minus 16.9%, all below to the previous one. Floor space of commercial buildings sold, floor space of newly started buildings were minus 2.8%, minus 23.8%, better than last month. The whole picture of the housing market was still at the bottom. That will slow down the economic recovery with no doubts. Yeah, the big engine of the plan still needs to be repaired. After that, PBOC cut 1 year and 5 years LPR rates by 10 base points to 3% and 3.5%, which will definitely give some relief to householders and stimulate consumption and somehow. Meanwhile, 4 biggest banks lowered their deposit interest rates, now most terms of which are close or under 1%. Last, Trump on Friday threatened a 50% tariff on goods from European Union. I have to say this guy's crazy, and want to fight with everybody using his big tariff stick. So with all of this information, China's bonds market fluctuated around its well-valued level. No consensus or clear trend exists right now. In fundamentals view, we have to wait for a clear signal. In terms of funding condition, the average level of financing price was a little higher than the week before. The funding cost for overnight of non-bank agency was around 1.6%, increased 5 to 10 base points. PBOC invested enough liquidity to the interbank market, but investors seem to be obsessed by the chill memory of the tight regulation of Q1, plus the absolute yields of short-term bond, which was pretty low and couldn't cover the overnight financing price. The investment sentiment in short-term bonds has been cooling down. Yields of short and middle-term bonds are at the boring level. So what should we pay attention next? First, the action of drama queen President Trump, whose actions are out of most people's expectation. I wouldn't be surprised if he launches nuclear weapons to those who don't want to please him. Second, the funding condition. Well, and fundamentals vacuum in the near future. No economic-related data came out, so China's bonds market is in PBOC's hands now. Let's just pray for the low and stable financing price and the loose funding environment. About bond investment strategies, China's bonds market was fragile as well as sentiments of investors, which have caused a left-side market trend since Q1. Thus, we should keep some position in our hands no matter what circumstance, to catch opportunity from uncertainty. But the difficult part is how we control losses from 1-2 punches of the temporary increasing of bond yields. For that, I think 30% of the total position is a proper percentage to hold on. So, as always, if you want to know more useful finance information about the Chinese bonds market and the economic situation, please like, share, and subscribe. May 31 to June 2 is the Dragon Boat Festival, so I wish you guys have a happy vacation. As usual, I will always be here, share my understanding and experience, and waiting for you. So bye guys, until next time.